In this video, I'm going to be discussing nap. You may have looked at the back of a pattern and saw the words with or without nap and wondered what that meant. Nap is a type of fabric. Some examples of these are corduroy, velvet, fleece, and velour. You need to know about nap because you need to get extra fabric in doing projects because they must be laid out in a certain way. If you don't follow the directions for working with nap, you could come up with a problem in your project. So let's get started in looking at some examples. Here's the back of a pattern. Now, if you look to where it indicates how much fabric we need to get for making this particular item, you'll see next to the width, there'll be asterisks. The number of asterisks indicates if it's with or without nap. You'll see at the bottom here, it actually has a code. 1 asterisk means without nap, so that would be a cotton blend, a polyester, something that doesn't have any sort of fuzziness to it. If it has 2 asterisks, like this one does, that means it's with nap. So this would be a corduroy, a velvet, something like that. You would also apply the same rule if you're using a directional type fabric. Usually what happens is if you use a with nap indicator, you need to buy more fabric than without nap. The reason for this is because you have to lay your pattern pieces out a certain way in order to make sure it's all going, the grain line is all going in the same direction. If you think of corduroy, which has stripes, or not stripes, but lines going through the fabric, if you lay out your patterns and your stripes are all going vertical, you then can't throw in a piece that's going horizontal. What's going to happen is it's going to look like 2 different colors, and I'm going to show you an example of that. So that's why you need more fabric if it's with nap. Now sometimes it might have 3 stars or 3 asterisks and it'll say with or without nap. That means that the way they lay out the pattern piece, it's good for with or without nap. So it doesn't break any of the rules with nap, and it doesn't matter if you do it with fabric that does not have a nap. So that's why sometimes it's good to find a pattern that says with or without nap, and then it doesn't really matter. So now I'm going to show you how to lay it out. So this is the directions that come in the envelope with your pattern. I'm going to focus on this one. So this shows the layout of your pattern pieces onto your fabric with nap. Now you'll notice on each piece of your pattern there'll be an arrow, and this is here in the little drawing they show you, but it's also true on the actual patterns themselves. They all have these little arrows. Now these arrows indicate the direction of the grain line that they want you to place it on. The important thing to know with nap is whatever way you want to put your arrows, you have to put them all in the same direction. See, this one is going horizontally, so is this one and all these other ones. I can't start and do this one horizontally and then take this pattern piece and all of a sudden the arrow's going up and down. That's not going to work because once you sew the pieces together, it's going to look like 2 totally different color fabrics. Now it's easy to picture with corduroy because you're going to make sure that all your lines in the corduroy are all going the same way. Not so easy to notice with velvet or velour, but if you follow this rule, once you sew it together, it'll come out right. So you just have to pick a direction that you want your arrows to run and then be consistent with every single pattern piece. They put it in these directions and lay it out for you because this is probably going to be the most efficient use of the fabric that they give you. So they're saying, make sure all these pattern pieces, the stripes all go in a horizontal motion. Here's an example of some corduroy. I have 2 sets that I've sewn together. So here's my seam right here between these 2 pieces. Each piece is going along the same grain line. So it looks like if there wasn't a seam here, it would be 1 solid piece. This is the right way to do it. This is the wrong way to do it. So in this piece, the grain line was going this way. In this one, it is going this way. And you can see, even though this is all from the same fabric, this one looks like the odd man out. It looks a little bit lighter. So you really want to avoid this unless you want to give yourself a patchwork quilt sort of look to your project. If you do it this way, it's going to be obvious, especially from afar, that you went against two different grain lines. So you kind of want to avoid this and just get the extra fabric and lay all the pieces along the same grain line so it would come out like this. So that's why you need to pay attention if you're working with fabric with nap.